Hello everyone, welcome back to the second episode of the Rubber Dinghy Report with myself, Tok, and Big Rubber Dinghy himself.
Yes, indeed.
He's got his brown book to try and keep me on track, the loser.
Someone's got to.
It'll never work. I'm uncontrolled, I'm untamed. I am unhinged, some might say. But
yes.
Yeah, as we got a podcast for you today. Going to be chatting about some stuff. Go on, Big Rubber Dinghy. Tell them what we're talking about today.
We gave a little bit of sizzle last week for Oz Comic-Con stuff, and convention things in general, let's say.
Yes, Oz Comic-Con. First one in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. Then Sydney for Supanova later that month. Then Brisbane for Comic-Con. And then Sydney for... Supanova.
So let's do this a bit more strategically. So
Brisbane for Supanova. I don't know. No, that
we have some dates.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So 6th and 7th.
Oh, 7th and 8th, mate.
7th and 8th.
Come on.
7th of 8th of June.
And this just proves that I do the admin.
7th and 8th of June, we will be in Melbourne.
Yes, we will.
So come check us at Comic-Con.
Yes, we'll have a whole booth set up. It's going to be really cool.
Let's follow that up with 21st, 22nd.
Yes, 21st, 22nd of...
I never get a date wrong.
Of June for Sydney.
And then...
That's Supanova.
Yep. And then September 13th, 14th for Brisbane.
Brisbane Comic-Con.
Yep.
Then Sydney Comic-Con, September 20th, 21st.
Yes.
And then November 7th, 9th is Brisbane Supanova.
Okay, yep, cool.
Yep. So 5 conventions out for this year. And the planning has been hectic, to say the least.
When I got into this project, I very much did not consider going to conventions or anything.
Yeah, but you kind of got to, no?
We have decided that is what we have to do. And holy moly, is there a lot of planning involved.
No kidding. And so much to pay for!
Oh my goodness.
Why can't they just make things free?
Like we live in a society.
Oh, so true.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, because... why can't the bank just let us take out a loan without,
We're going to make our money back.
Yeah, but then they'll be like, you got to pay interest.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm not interested. Why are you making me pay interest?
But we have splurged out to go get some of the main exhibitor booths.
Yeah,
so that is our fault.
We're literally right next to the entrance for a bunch of, or the main stage, which is so unnecessary probably, but I don't know, I feel like it'll get at least some foot traffic around us. And that brings me to my grand idea that I mentioned to Sam.
Skipping straight to that, okay.
A punch machine, right? So these beautiful people right here, they're gladiators. They are sports people of a violent nature.
And sports people.
Yes,
not
we're inclusive.
Or anything.
Sports people still works. What do you mean? Of course, sports person.
Sports dudes.
Oh, you idiot! Sports person still works as a word.
Sports homies.
I swear to God. So these sports brethren right here, these gentlemen and gentlewomen of the sport right here, they're of the violent nature, and I figured. So when we were getting set up, the organisers told us, have some stuff that brings you to the booth. Now I'm thinking, we buy a punching machine, right? And with that punching machine, we decorate it up a bit, make it gladiator themed, make it decorated, similar to us, right? Similar to our branding. We let people have a crack at it in exchange for following the socials. I think that's a great idea, right?
Now, you may wonder, are we made of money, and did we just complain about spending too much money? The answer to that would be, no, we are not made of money, and yes, we did just complain about spending money, and...
Yeah, but also, this project got to be a success,
Yeah, but how much money?
My entire life rides upon it. I need this to work. I don't want to be homeless.
Yeah.
Which I am going on that track. However, I do actually think it's a cracking idea to get people over to the booth. Because what guy isn't going to see that and go, let me punch?
Well, let me take my absolute host roots of here and let us know in the comments if you'd be interested in seeing a punching machine.
Right, but how's this for a catch? Highest punch of the day gets their name featured in a future book.
So now that we've got that out of the way, let us know in the comments if you would like to see a punching machine at our conventions.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Because, when you go to arcade, it's always one of the most popular machines, right? It's thematically fits in with what we're doing.
We do have a training, well, not training.
No, it's a gladiator, like, what is it? Testing.
It's their entrance tournament stuff. They've got to do some
entrance
physical testing.
So
there is some thematic reasons to use
I don't know if they have. Maybe they do have a punch machine in there. I suppose we didn't really establish. It's
base thing. So it's
mainly statistical
similar,
stuff like endurance and like raw strength output and that. So I suppose striking potential probably.
It is a combat sport. It would make sense to have something like that.
To have that tested.
Let's quickly rewrite.
No, I mean we've already got that. Out there. It's. I mean, you're the one editing book 2, which is where it pops up. So if you feel the need to elaborate more. Go for it. But I think it just fits in well with that. And you have it branded as that. You slap the War Games logo over it, that one up there. And I think you get people over to the booth with that. And at the very least, you give them a business card.
It has legs.
And I think, like, at the very least, they see the stick and they might ask, what's that character? He looks pretty cool, Or, what's this all about while they're, after they've had a punch. I feel like it's something definitely worth doing, probably at the earliest, probably the Sydney convention at the end of
It's
June.
going to require some workshopping and
That's
some
what I'm
logistics side of things.
Because if we can pick it up at the end of May, then, if that all goes ahead, like if the price is good from the one that we found, and if everything goes ahead, if we can pick that up at the end of May, in that week, bring it over to Sinorama, because I'll have called them. Sinorama New Farm, they're great, by the way.
No shout-outs. Sponsor us.
No. We, I did actually agree to give them shout-outs.
Shout out. Don't sponsor us, but still sponsor us.
Yeah. They're kind of cool out there,
They've done as well.
Yeah, really well.
Some of their work up here.
Yeah, it's really, really good work. Really high quality. But if we get that over to them that week, they can work on it while we're away, right? We come back to Brisbane after Melbourne. And if that's ready to go, like if that's something we've already set up, we can just take it to the Sydney one. Because unfortunately, for the Melbourne one, I'm running the unloading of the van solo because someone can't get the first day or like the setup day off work.
Sucks to have a job, mate.
Yeah, it must do. It's alright.
Yeah.
You should just run a failing business instead. It's like, that first one.
It's still to be decided, but it's very much.
I think so, but I think at the price that it's at,
we are very much considering it. So
it was.
We would love to see what you think, and it
literally just hit me by an epiphany. I was half asleep listening to the Black Hand playlist on the plane back because I was like, I knew I wanted to do some writing last night after I got back from Sydney. I was just over there for some family stuff, and on the way back, I was like, I put on the, got my noise cancelling Bose Quiet Comforts on, and the length of the, come on, the length of the plane was more or less the length of the playlist, and so I chucked it on, and I was just letting it. I was there, eyes closed, just as I usually am for short flights, just because it makes the time pass quicker. And at one point, I just opened my eyes, and I'm like, punch machine. Even I didn't know what I meant at first. I'm like, sorry, what? Sorry, what? And then I'm like, punch machine. Like, oh yeah! that would be kind of sick. I think, honestly, even if we can't get the branding done at a reasonable price or whatnot, even just painting that thing black, sticking the old mark of Raijin on it, I think that's a pretty good, like, easy setup. The only thing for me logistically is if it's feasible to carry it to and from, and if it requires just a regular plug to plug in and it's plug and go.
We have a few things we need to consider with it, but
100%.
It's very much a work in progress. But exciting thoughts we have.
100%.
Do you want to get to more of the nitty gritty of the other side of planning and stuff? Like, have we properly talked about the driving we are doing?
Oh God, should we give them a run through of the Melbourne timeline?
So we are. I'll just start with this. We are based in Brisbane.
Yeah.
We are getting all of the thing we're bringing to the convention, which includes books, the prologues, clothing, keychains, banners,
stickers,
etc.
pins, all the other sort of decorations, spinning wheels.
That's all coming to us here.
Tablecloths, a lot, yeah.
So we can quality assure it before we go.
Yeah.
We are then having to transport that to Melbourne, which is a 3-hour flight or something like that?
Yeah, but it's an 18-hour drive.
Or an 18-hour drive. Now, we have just thought, okay, we are just going to drive everything ourselves.
Yeah, because shipping it out there would just be way too expensive for one.
We also don't... We need to get quotes and stuff for that early.
Yes.
And we actually don't know how much stuff we've got.
Yes. We don't know how much stuff we have for one. And for two, it's the quality thing. Because I got my car brought over from Melbourne when I first bought it, because I bought it online from there. And I just gave it to a regular logistics company. Came back, half a tank of fuel. Definitely had been used to do donuts, and it wasn't right from then.
Okay.
So I since then have had a massive. I have a massive grudge with logistics companies. I don't trust them because I was very much looking forward to my car. And definitely some delivery boy went and did donuts in it. So, you know.
Yeah. So we have now split up that 18-hour drive.
Yes.
So the weekend before the first convention,
Yeah.
we are going to be driving the 9 hours to Sydney
Yes.
with all of the goodies.
Yeah.
And dropping all the stuff at our lovely artist, Andrew. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, at his place, which thankfully he's letting us keep the stuff there.
Yes.
Hopefully shouldn't be too in the way.
Yeah.
Unless it's a punch machine involved.
That's another thing of the logistics we'll have to consider.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that drive. Have either of us driven a van before?
No.
Yep, that'd be right. No.
Yeah. well, that first one to Sydney is going to be where we figure out how to drive a van.
Yeah.
I fingers crossed it's automatic, otherwise we're both screwed.
I think we've requested automatic, so...
Yeah, we have.
Hopefully they don't mess that up. Otherwise we'll be learning to drive manual.
Can't wait to money shift on the middle of a highway in like at Coffs Harbour somewhere, just straight from second of What's a clutch?
Absolutely wiped out by a truck. Sweet stall.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be good.
So yeah, we're driving to Sydney.
Well, actually, travel hack. Breakdown. RACQ. Where's your destination? Oh, funnily enough, it's in Melbourne.
Okay, so our plan is now to break down the vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get taken
We
there.
got insurance, right?
Well.
Maybe not the best answer then.
We do that, how can we afford a punch machine, mate? Priorities.
Anyway, so yeah, we're driving that to Sydney and then returning to Brisbane, and then the week after, you are then going to fly to Sydney.
Let me run you through what this man has me doing because he can't get a day off work. Thursday, I do a full day of work, right? Mm-hmm. I get on a plane Thursday night, fly over to Sydney, land at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I then go over, pick up a van, something I've never done before, at the airport, right? Pick it up.
We will do that before on the drive to Sydney, so you will have had
Yeah,
experience.
I've done it once before. I'm going to pick it up the van at Sydney Airport, go and pick up all the equipment from Andrew's place, then find somewhere to pull over and sleep for the night, because I don't currently have any accommodation. I don't want to spend more because punch machine. And then after that, I'm going to be, the next morning about 3 a.m, I'm going to be driving solo from Sydney to Melbourne, a drive I've A, never done before, B, never done in a van before.
And let's say C, it is a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, it's a 10-hour drive. Shine Energy, please give me a sponsorship. I will shill your drinks relentlessly. They
already does.
Yeah. I drank one actually on the just before this. That's the reason I'm talking so much. It's funny, without caffeine, I've learned this weekend without any, I don't talk. Caffeine is the only thing so those conventions, dude, I'm gonna be sinking like 3 drinks before we start, and I'm gonna be
Shine, this is your brand ambassador. He's already doing the work for you.
Yeah, 100%.
Reach out to him. Just pay him in drinks.
Yes, that's all I need. Just 3 drinks, to be fair. And then so I'm gonna be driving to Melbourne. Then when I get there about 2 in the afternoon, I've got to check into the Airbnb that Sam took care of booking.
Yep.
And then after that, I've got to drive solo to the convention. I've never been to a convention before. I've got to find where to park. Well, where to get in the loading dock, right? Got to pull in there.
I'm just going to quickly stop you right there. Now, just to preface this, Tok is terrible with directions.
Yeah, I can't do directions at all. Every road
sense
looks
of
the
direction
same to me.
completely out the window. He can write, he can't direct.
Yeah, all roads look the same to me.
And has no memory of what he's driven down. Second he leaves that road,
it's gone. Gone from head. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to try and find the convention center, navigate through all the probably closed roads and blocked off gates, and like the people that are telling you. I'm gonna have like the slip up in the front windscreen and all that, and then I'm gonna have to find the loading bay, probably get in a queue, pull into the loading bay. unload all of the stuff solo because Sam isn't there. And not only that, apparently there may only be a 30-minute window to do so. So that's 16 boxes of just books alone. 8 boxes of prologues, all the banners, all of the flags, the LED signs that are still yet to come. A punch machine. Who knows?
That's not going to be there. Let's just be clear. It will not be at
kilos.
Melbourne.
You know, well, I'm going to push
It will not be at Melbourne.
Imagine that as your first debut, though.
We can say that for our second or third debut.
Yeah, but you talk about kicking things off with a punch.
It's with a bang, mate. Come on. Get your phrases together.
Shut up. There's a pun. So I'm going to have to do all that.
Is it?
Then by the time that setup's all done and dusted, here comes Birdie, big bollocks, rocking up after work, all relaxed. Oh, what did you get up today, Toc? Oh, I just did the entire thing, you know? So then, aren't you deserting me for dinner that night as well, and you're just going off with your parents? That's the next night, okay. So, you know, we'll probably get a dinner, which I do believe you owe me for that night.
I accept.
And then, so then after that, the real weekend begins of conventions all day, sales stuff. It's not what we usually delve into, but we're going to be giving it our best crack and becoming the sleaziest salesman you've ever seen.
Well, one of us will. The other one will be a stumbling mess.
Yeah, but you'll try.
A bumbling mess is probably a better way of
you'll
saying
try
it.
though, and that's all that counts.
So we've got... So you've got all the unloading on the Friday night, and then Friday during the day.
Yes,
and then we got the Saturday morning to finish off all the final.
We can do the setting up on the early Saturday morning.
We will be together for. I'm so helpful. I do everything for this project. Yep.
You are the worst.
Then we'll get into the convention itself, which we've never done.
Yeah,
we haven't even really been to.
No, I've never been to one.
Like, we've been to a convention together, but it was not to the same extent.
No, it was like a small one.
Thing.
Yeah. This is going to be pretty massive. We are at the center of it.
Yeah.
Which is, again, why I think we need a punch machine.
So that you can take your fury out on it instead of me.
Yeah, I may literally go in the next few weeks, if the price is right, and drive to Sydney or get it delivered back to us. I might send a mate of mine in Sydney to go take a look at it. I just think it's an actually cracking idea.
We cannot have it for the first Melbourne convention.
We might.
We cannot.
But we might.
This is a strong veto.
Why?
You were going to have to carry the 150 kilo.
Do you not know how massive I am?
You can lift 100 kilos, mate.
Yeah, I can. I can bench press 100 kilos, mate.
What about that extra 50?
Deadlift. I can do that. Can carry the whole thing in a deadlift.
It for like 200 meters.
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm going to make everyone else in the queue of vans behind me help me.
If you want me to leave now, carry it.
You want to carry it with me. Otherwise, you're waiting for me to haul this shit inside.
So, yes, it won't be at the Melbourne convention. But
it very well. It literally might be.
It might be at the Sydney one going forward. We're not going to make it to the Melbourne one.
I'm not ruling it out entirely because I think as an impact for our first showing.
I'll impact your head into the ground.
Unfortunately, Samuel, I am far superior in physical combat, and I will end your life.
I'll dodge.
Dodge this.
Dodged.
Oh, well. So then we got the conventions day to day, which are going to be lengthy.
Yeah.
But it'll be a really interesting experience, to say the least.
Yeah. We're really keen to meet the people and, give them the book. We really want people to read this work. Because we believe in it's...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Of course we believe in it. It's...
yeah.
Well, we have to. If you don't believe in it, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Genuinely, if you don't think it can be the best of its kind, you're in the wrong field.
Yeah, the response we've had now has been really good. So
yeah, we've been really happy with it so far.
Yeah, very keen to get more people into it. And
exactly. I do think it's a matter of time where people do start to pick it up and it'll gain some traction. And, the story itself is something that, I mean, it's good. It's good work. It's,
yeah.
And I do believe it can be one of the best of its nature that's been written just purely on the story beats.
There's nothing else like it.
That is true. But just in terms of the story beats, the twists, the turns, the characters and all that sort of a thing and what's, to come, I think it's a really exciting, piece of literature.
Yeah.
So, and if you don't believe that it can be the best, there's no point you even pursuing it any further, right? Because if you don't believe it, who else is going to believe it?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you have to. So, yeah, after the conventions, then it comes to Sunday night, right?
I mean, we've also, just to keep going with the conventions, even if you just, like, if you're interested in cool art and stuff like that, we're going to have...
Oh, yeah, we're going to have...
plenty of it.
Our artwork, I think, is going to be
it's
a level
tier.
above a lot of other projects that are around, simply because, again, we've just put so much into it. You know, like our front cover
Some
itself.
would argue too much, but...
Yeah, some would. And those some would be us too. No. I think it's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Because, again, you take a look at our book cover for Revolt War Games Part 1, and it's like, it's a window into our novel.
Yeah.
You know, it's exactly what the world looks like. It's a perspective of, you know, Eli when he's perched up on that balcony. And all of our novels will subsequently be like that. But yeah, I want to get onto the Sunday night, what that's going to be like.
Yes, let's go. So convention wraps up.
What, 5 p.m., 6 p.m.?
I think doors close for everyone at 5 p.m.
Yes. And then we've got...
We
got to pack up.
I think we had until 8 p.m. at the latest to pack up.
I think it's till 10, but
till 10,
we wanted
sorry.
to get out by 8 at the latest.
And why do we want to get out by 8 at the latest?
So we will finish the convention, we'll pack up, get everything in the van, and then we've got to drive overnight to Sydney.
Yes.
A 9-hour drive, caffeinated to our eyeballs.
At least one of us.
You can't even do it, you're gonna have to be.
I'm gonna try and hold out for as long as possible.
Dude, you're gonna, like, after a
probably-
full day of talking, which drains us both.
Yes.
And then starting a 9-hour drive at the end of that, you're gonna be exhausted, mate.
I'm gonna do what I can to not, but yes, I just try.
Mate, I'm gonna want you caffeinated because I'm gonna be the passenger seat. You're gonna kill us both.
Yeah, so we have the 9-hour drive back to Sydney.
Yeah. And then we got to drive from, like, into Sydney to Andrew's place where we're going to leave our artwork for the Sydney convention.
Yes.
And then we've got to go drop off the van and then hop on a plane at 10 a.m. so that I can then make it back for my usual work day by, like, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And work for the rest of Monday. And then play futsal on Monday night.
Yeah, we'll see if we make it to that.
Oh, I'm going to do that just for the bit so I can say that I had that full day.
I'm not a man who naps. But I suspect that'll be the day that I learn how to nap.
I won't have time to nap sheerly because I've got to work until
I'm going to be asleep at the wheel, so I have taken the day off work that day.
Yeah. You're going to what?
I've taken the day off work
No,
that day.
you're going to be asleep at the wheel.
Bad phrase.
Oh, you mean when you get back, you're going to be... Oh, okay. I thought you were just going to kill us both.
If I was working... If I was to work, I would not be awake. It would be too...
Yeah, I mean, that's the, like, you can't take the day off work on the Friday, but you can on the Monday, whereas I can on the Friday because business, but it means I have to pick up everything on the Monday, which is going to be torturous. And at the moment, the business is offering free shipping because I need to generate some cash because fun with this project. And that means lots of orders have come in with, like, minimal money.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just kind of the way it is.
You gotta.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. Anything for the project. Keep the Godsend Saga running and afford a punch machine.
And so then that basically wraps up our Melbourne trip.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks or 3 weeks later.
2 weeks.
2 weeks
2
later.
weeks later, it's off to Sydney.
Another 9-hour drive to Sydney.
At
least we don't have anything in the vehicle.
And we don't have any flights to coordinate or anything like that. It's literally hire a van, drive there, Airbnb, load in, convention, load out, drive back, drop off van.
We're doing a lot better with time for that one.
100%. It'll just be daytime drives. Oh no, the one on the way back will be overnight. Yeah. I imagine on the way back, just so we can make Monday work for each of the days, it's probably going to be a nighttime drive for every convention. Well, the second Sydney one, you're not even there, so...
Yeah, it sucks to be you, but...
I mean, one would call it a lack of dedication to the project. Others would call it you have an important family thing going on. However...
Some would argue I planned this trip well before we planned any of the conventions.
Some would say, I don't care.
Some would say, you're wrong.
What, that I don't care? No, I don't care. I can tell you that as a representative of me. I don't care what you have planned. Go help me shill the book.
As your co-author, I veto your not caring.
As the originator of the whole saga, I say, how about you put a permanent end to your life?
No.
Coward.
It's too scary.
Oh man, you might as well be missing the September. You're going to be there first day of Brisbane though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be there for the first day of Brisbane, and then second day I'm flying out.
When are you flying out?
I actually don't know.
Surely. You
I think it might be the
morning.
13th night, to be honest.
Oh, you're not even helping in the morning of the.
I don't think so. It's either very early morning.
I'll probably get Big G out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, we got some friends that'll come help us and whatnot.
Yeah, Brisbane one will be fine without me.
G will be good. He knows the series inside out pretty much, or at least to this point. So, yeah, he'll be a good one to have along. I'm sure he'll be on this at some point as well to chat about the novels and reading. So he's a big reader, so probably talk to him about books. Something you could probably do with him more than you could do with me.
Speaking of being a big reader, what a perfect segue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Classic Rubber Dinghy reporting.
You know what? This little book does wonders.
Does it?
I'm just going to segue into what we have been reading currently. And let's start with you. What have you currently been reading?
Let's start with you, Sam.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you got to give me time to think of something.
All right, well. I'm just going to quickly pull up a little document, which I should have pre-prepared, of what I have been reading to go through it with you.
Yeah, in order to fill the dead air of Sam pulling up the document.
Document has been pulled up.
Oh, well, there you go.
What a good fill.
Thank you, mate.
All right, well, so I have currently finished... Oh, no, this doesn't order it. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So much for... Oh, I've pulled it up. No need to cover the dead air anymore.
I have pulled it up. All right, since our last podcast,
Yep.
I have finished one book and started another one.
Yeah, what have you finished?
So I've finished Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I'm going to give a solid 4 stars.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
Okay.
It's a Sanderson,
Yeah, okay.
rival of the series. But
Yeah,
we love him.
I
love him.
No, we do. We do love him and we do respect him, but we hope to surpass him one day.
He is our benchmark.
Yes. Well, if you don't aim for the top, what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point. It's like you might see that as unrealistic or a bit, it's a bit arrogant. It's like, well, no. It's if we don't think that we're gonna, or if we don't believe that we can achieve that, what's the point? Because then you don't believe in the story you're writing. And again, going back, if you don't believe in it, the readers won't. So you have to believe that you can be of that standard. Absolutely. If we do achieve it, I'll be blown away because it's a very high height, but that's what you got to work towards. And hey, if we achieve 3/4, that's still pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a little almost a. It's called like a Princess Bride adventure.
Like that movie?
Sort of.
That's the one with Andre the Giant in it, and the six-fingered guy, and the whole.
This one's
my name is whatever the hell he says. You killed my father, prepare to die. that
My
one.
name is Indigo Montoya.
Yeah, that's the one. I saw
killed
that
my
once in
father.
like year 6. Yeah. It was kind of gag. It was pretty gangster. That was a cool scene.
That's it's pirate ships
Okay.
on an ocean of spores where they. Do you know like how sand, if it vibrates, sort of like
It becomes like a liquid.
That's
pretty cool.
And if these spores hit water, it causes different effects. Like so, the green spores, which is the one that start the Emerald Sea, that creates like vines and stuff.
Wow, that's cool world building.
Very cool.
Just a side, I had a funny idea at one point. I don't know why. Like again, I sometimes come up with my ideas are very much in the plenty, but a lot of them are just concepts or vibes or stuff like that, as I'm sure you've seen me write down.
Yes.
But one of them was imagine a body of water or something that had the texture / the appearance of TV static.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm aware.
But I'm saying I don't know, just as a visual. Again, there's nothing more to the idea in terms of what it means or what it does or anything like that. But basically a flowing current of essentially TV static looking stuff.
Almost consistent vibrations.
Yes, something like that. I just thought as a visual it was something kind of cool.
Really cool. Doesn't fit in our series.
No, but I mean, off-world sort of style, whatever.
Yeah.
That was originally actually what I had planned for it. The other one that I had was a river of sand.
Oh yeah.
Similar. It was actually something similar to that, where it was like vibrations of sand. I actually hadn't clocked. I think I saw a YouTube video of someone making the vibrating sand, and that was probably how I would have explained it. But I had the idea of at some point going off and then having a sand user create it.
We have a couple of sand
users.
users.
We do. But I'm saying either having one of them create it and then being able to transport their group along it, or
Manipulate
manipulate or something like that.
Cool.
I don't know. It was just a cool idea that I had, but yeah.
This one's also got a deaf character, which is, I think, done very well.
Throwing up gang signs and that?
No, they have a little tablet that says, they tap in the back and it does like also like predictive typing stuff, which is pretty interesting.
Cool. Yeah.
And it like displays what the person has said to them.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, a woman who likes teacups, which...
Who doesn't? I like a teacup.
I'm a little cup collector myself, which you may not know. I've got some fun-shaped cups.
Yeah, I think I've seen one or two at your place. Yeah, they're pretty... Well, you're a big tea boy.
I'm a big collector boy.
Yeah, you are. I would be. I just don't let myself because I know it gets so out of hand. That's why I try to just refrain from a lot of collections because I end up just wanting... It starts with like, let me just get my favourites. Then I'll be like, well, I like that one too.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, how about I just get my favourites from every individual category? And I was like, well, now I also like the... And then it's just... It ends up spiralling. It's like the one I really am fascinated by is Warhammer.
Yeah.
To me, Warhammer is so fascinating. The lore behind it,
Such a deep hole to dive into at the same time.
But the problem is, if I started on that, especially the collecting side of things, I wouldn't rest until I obtained every single figure that had ever been made.
Yep.
Right? Like, I just wouldn't be able to. So, and that is a money hole that would take away from the punch machine. So
this bloody punch machine. It's going to be the death of me.
So,
Yeah.
probably not worth it, but...
The other very cool thing about that story is it's told from the narrator is one of the characters, but not the main character. It's a very, very sub-character.
Interesting. That's
Now,
always a cool trope that I've
this
seen
one
around
is
before.
a character who does appear across this whole series, so it's a bit less of
Is
like
it like
a sub-character,
is it like a Watcher type character?
It's hard to explain without going into full lore.
Because like the Marvel, the
extent,
Watcher, and all that. How
he is basically always there, but he's very much involved to an extent.
Okay.
So he's not just watching; he is very much participating.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I do think that is quite cool.
This one, he's the whole book is he's like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he took a bet with a sorceress, which and the source. Yeah.
Living in a nation of gamblers.
Spoilers for the book, sorry.
I see no issue with that.
No.
Sometimes all you need is another slap.
Honestly,
here's my rule on gambling, Matt. Everything's a 50-50. You either win or you don't. So take that bet.
One
it's all the
50-50 is a little heavily weighted.
No, you either win or you don't. And that's a coin flip, right? So,
Disclaimer?
that $1 billion of lottery tickets, it's a coin flip away. That's all it is. You either win it or you don't.
Disclaimer, we do not endorse gambling.
We're Australian, mate. Of course we do.
We're not Australian.
Of course you are. Your name's literally Rubber Dinghy. It doesn't get more Australian than that.
Yeah, and then I've just started up another one, which I'm only very early into, so I can't talk too much about
What's it called?
The Doll Maker.
Oh,
Sorry,
what?
just called Doll Maker.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of that.
By
I might
Lynn
not have
Buchanan.
done. Okay.
I've never read anything of hers, but I saw
Genre?
hers. I think fantasy.
Yeah, okay. But what sort of a fantasy? Is it like the medieval kind of fantasy? Is it like the sci-fi kind of fantasy?
It's kind of a mix.
Okay.
It's, from what I have read, it's set in a world that's got this alien species coming after them.
Okay.
And they use dolls or like robots to an extent, but like it's more like medieval robots and
okay.
Where,
just a bit of sci-fi fantasy, I guess.
Yeah.
Steampunky?
I believe I haven't got. I'm very early on in the book, so I haven't got too far. I don't know the mechanics of the dolls yet.
Yeah.
But I do know something I'm very interested by is like the alien species is like enamored with beauty.
Okay.
Any works of like beauty and stuff like that is like attracted to.
So like all people.
Not like I don't exactly know how far, but I just a very cool idea of how
it is a cool idea. But also, if you're a human that isn't attracted to beauty, I think you're just lying to yourself.
But the world that they live in then has to be very like mundane.
I get you.
Contrast, yeah.
So, what if that's why the world around us is so poorly designed now? What if that's why buildings look ugly? What if?
You never know.
Yeah. What if she's onto something?
She could well be.
What if the architects that I've spent my life despising are the good guys? Oh, no, I don't feel like that's a good enough trade-off. I'd rather live in a beautiful place that's being ravaged by aliens. That's fine. I'm chill with that. I could take down some aliens or two. Just throw a punch machine at them.
I think we have the episode title.
Punch machine.
If it's gonna keep
wait till the finale where he turns Sam into a punch machine.
Oh goodness! When we were talking about it earlier, I was like, "Oh, for the first one, I'll just dress up as the machine." They just punch me whoever I think hits the hardest.
Good shot, mate.
212.
He's got this one guy that annoys you. He's like an absolute like weapon. Just cracks you. It's like, oh yeah, it's a solid 3, mate.
One-handed calculator.
Yeah, 3 at best. 3.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
yep.
let's go back to you.
Yeah.
What have you been reading? Or let's expand it for you since we know you
well,
don't read.
I read my boarding pass on the way to Sydney and back.
Okay, what would you rate that out of 5?
A 3 because it didn't say business class.
Okay.
But it did say priority baggage.
Okay.
So that's pretty good.
What sort of
and it was an aisle seat.
Oh yeah.
And row 4, so legroom.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's a 4 out of 5.
Oh, you changed your score very quickly.
What did I say it was?
3.
Who knows, man?
And what sort of themes did this boarding pass explore?
Red and white. It was Qantas.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No shout-outs.
Shut up, mate.
All right. Well, then let's expand it for you since we know you don't read.
Yeah.
What media have you consumed lately that is worth talking about?
Honestly, mainly that playlist that I've put together for writing the side novel, the cowboy novel.
Yeah, okay.
That's the main thing I've been listening to really just envelop myself in that world. For me, music can almost... Like, I came up with an entire scene of the story basically by, putting on the playlist, playing out the songs in my head, and what I imagine the characters doing with a backing track of that song. And it's helped me write many of the action scenes particularly, but many of the other really descriptive and, like, impactful scenes. So music does a lot for me in that sense. An escape scene that after listening to it last night again, there's an escape scene that I actually want to edit slightly because of the way it played out in my head to the...
Are you going back and reading your work to write it again?
No, I'm not going to reread it. I'm just going to add on to the end of it. Yeah.
Guys, we got close. He almost reread something.
No, I would never. What do I look like? A coward?
Yeah. Dodged.
So mainly that. So you can actually see that playlist if you go to the link in our Instagram bio. It's up there on our Spotify.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour playlist. So I've been listening to that a lot. Outside of that, I've gone back because again I'm very much a thematic person. Whatever I'm currently writing, I like to delve into similar stuff or so right now it's a lot of country western or even old school American, like another one was Gangs of New York. I rewatched that recently and that's, oh my god, an incredible movie. Daniel Day-Lewis is you can't take your eyes off him for the entire thing. His performance is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's like early days America, like late 1800s I think it's set in.
Any cool moments or stuff that
highlighting? Just his entire, but it's captivating. Like he plays this sort of semi-unhinged character and you can't take your eyes off him. It's incredible. I also rewatched the Dollars trilogy, Clint Eastwood. Very much a protagonist vibe that I want to capture in our protagonist for that novel.
You want to give him a name drop?
In the future, I don't think they're not, unless as more people read the first book, I can kind of name drop that name.
Yeah, okay.
But as of right now, we can leave it a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so like capturing that sort of Clint Eastwood vibe because he's such a cool hero, man. Like it's hard not to watch one of his movies, especially the Dollars trilogy. For a Few Dollars More is probably my favorite. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is probably my second. I rewatched all 3 though recently, and they're just great works of film. Really really good. They hold up. And yeah, Clint Eastwood is just phenomenally cool. It's hard not, I think, especially as a guy, to be drawn towards a character like that. especially just because of the competency levels.
Yeah.
You know, people like reading about competent main characters, and I feel like there's so many characters today, in trying to make them, I don't know, a bit flawed, you remove the competency.
Yeah.
Because it's not as if that character isn't flawed, but just because they're flawed, they don't have to be useless. You know what I mean? They don't have to falter and act a dunce or a coward in every situation.
Yeah, okay.
They can be straight up courageous and pretty badass, but still be flawed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like one of the flaws of our main characters, I think we can go into a little bit, is his need to do everything alone, right? And not allowing others to be under his command or even his, you know, under his watch, because he believes it'll take away from what he can do. Whereas in actual fact, he's taking too much upon himself. And that can be a flawed character, but he can still be that badass dude that stares down an army of enemies with like 2 revolvers in hand and sort of like, you know, be that guy that makes you go, hell yeah.
He's also pretty much of a law follower, right? Like, would you?
Yeah, 100%.
That's another flaw of, well, I'd say like a good quality and a flaw of his.
Yes, exactly. It's like, what I'm saying is like, you don't have to lose your entire masculinity and badassery, really, just to become semi-relatable. Like, sometimes you just want to read about people that are maybe a bit better than you, so you can not only aspire, but, like, look at and go, like, hell yeah, that's awesome. I love this guy. He's, like, you know, look what he's able to... Like, displays of courage against, like, unassailable, you know, threats. God, isn't that just cool to... Like, again, one of my favourite scenes ever, like I've told in Secret Wars, was Hyperion and Thor, like, basically racing to Valhalla. Yeah. Like, they're coming up against the Beyonders. Dude.
No chance of winning.
0 chance of winning. Like, one Beyonder almost took down the entire multiverse of Marvel. And then you got an army of them. Yeah, you've got an army of them coming through.
Yeah.
It's like... You've got Thor and Hyperion, two powerful. It's like
they're just there to buy time. They know they're not winning.
Yeah, and it's just like them sort of bumping fists before heading, like already injured before heading, like straight in there, like powers at full strength, just to kill as many as they can on their way out.
Yeah,
there's nothing cowardly about it. There's nothing like it is the most admirable traits.
Yes,
but you cannot like just because you're not reading that and going, oh well, it's not really like relatable or you know. Whatever. It's like those are
paragons of virtue.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, that's at a lesser level. It's what someone like, you know, the Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood's character from that trilogy represents. Is it's that sort of again, it's that sort of masculinity in its best sense, in that standing down against whatever comes his way, but intelligently as well. In the sense of, you know, it's not just blind rage that takes them there. Like Thor and Hyperion, they weren't doing that out of rage and malice and whatever. No, it's like they needed to bide time for their allies. Yeah. And so they've taken it upon themselves to make that sacrifice. Yeah. Right? And the way it was written was, oh God, it's one of the most moving, like, pieces of, like, those pages where it all happens. Like, I showed it to you. It is deeply moving. Yes. Like,
it's a very impactful scene.
Yeah. Even without knowing the full context of what happened behind it. It's just... The way it's written, like the small like bubbles of text, very minimal, but you know, wow, it just hits really, really hard. And again, that's what I think I want to capture with the main character, and not necessarily in those scenes of you know whatever, but it's more, this dude is like, he's virtuous, he's strong, he's you know. And all that, despite him being relatively young, like, you know, the main character's 19 going on 20 in that novel. But I think it's fun to watch a character like that try and take on this threat that is pretty, you know, sizable. And, you know, themselves, and he's taking it upon himself to do so, right? And, so, I think... Watching that trilogy back really sort of gave me some more ideas and fleshed out our character more so for me, in that helping me understand how he would act and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And for any wrestling fans out there, another good example is Hangman Adam Page. His whole persona of sort of a lone cowboy and just a total badass. Is just, and he has his flaws too. Very, like, his whole character, the reason why people love him so much, the reason why he's one of my favorite wrestlers ever, is because he's a deeply, deeply flawed character. Like, that's what makes him who he is. But it's his actions and stuff like that that is what makes him, like, he's beloved no matter where, you know, where the story goes or whatever. It's hard to hate him because of, you know, the actions that he's taken and the reasons that he's taken them. So, you know, another great character that I've sort of taken a little bit of inspiration from in the way that he acts for the main character of that Western novel. But yeah, I've kind of been delving down the Western route as of late. Yeah.
Fitting.
Yeah. Yeah, has to be. You know, it's
It's the year of the cowboy, baby.
cowboy time, baby. That's right. That's it's cowboy time out here. That's yeah, there's nothing more to that bit. I just wanted to grab my cowboy hat.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And now you're committed to wearing that for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm gonna ride it while I'm wear it while I'm riding.
Of course.
Later. Yeah, and the
How
poncho.
else would you ride?
Well, exactly. It's like, how can you expect me to write about cowboys if I'm not dressed as a cowboy? And, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Go
got
on.
something?
No, go on
Alright,
with your
well,
next rubber dinghy reporting.
What a terrible segue into our next.
Oh, shut up. That's your job.
All right. Well, I've got two options for you here, and
Yeah.
because I think we've got time for one more.
Right.
We could do an about us a bit more and why we have the insight into the
Yeah.
the story or the project, or how were the main characters created, and a deep dive into them.
Ooh.
What do you feel?
You're a big rubber dinghy reporter.
Mm-hmm.
You
Rubber
take
Dinghy
it-
Reporter in his role as the host. He's
Yeah.
passing on responsibility.
Well, you can't just...
What more does a cowboy do than make decisions? And you are wearing the cowboy hat.
So true. I don't know. I suppose we could talk about us a little more. Still early days in the... This is our second episode of the podcast, so I
Yeah.
suppose we can talk about us a little
Alright.
more. Go on, ask your questions, whatever you got to ask. Partner.
Partner. Where's your draw?
Ah, yeah, right.
Now let's go into you.
Yep.
What sort of stuff has inspired you from a young age to get to this sort of project?
Love telling stories.
Mm-hmm.
Love making people laugh, for one.
Yeah.
But that kind of delved its way into... I've always loved writing stories. Even as a young child, I used to love writing short stories in my spare time. All of which I've lost.
Shame.
But, yeah, it was often spy ones. I used to love writing spy novels. And at that age, it's so hard to fill things. I was baffled. I used to write them. They were like 7 or 8 pages long. I'd be baffled as to how do you write 300 pages? Even though I was reading like 300, 400 page books, I was like... You know, I was like 7 to 8 years old, being like, how do I write more than like 6 pages? What the hell?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've always loved writing stories, telling stories. I mean, I'm sure you can attest. Whenever I've got a story to tell of whatever happened, like to me, say the next time I catch up with you, I always flower it up in a way that, you know, builds to a punchline and, you know, has a lot of detail surrounding it to sort of create the best story I can. It's just naturally the way I go about things. Punch machine. Sorry.
You were looking for punchline.
But yeah, I think, and then, I mean, the premise of we explained the origins of the story in the last podcast about how, you know, gladiators and pro wrestling and MMA, but superpowers and that sort of a thing. But pro wrestling storytelling and the way to write a fight has definitely...
Well, how long have you been into like pro wrestling and
since
MMA
I was
stuff?
like 4, 5, 6 years
okay.
old, something like that. Yeah, I've been watching... I grew up on like Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Noah, that sort of stuff. Never really got into WWE so much. Was always into the slightly more violent promotions. They're more fun for me.
Yeah.
I like when my fake fights feel real. Is the best way
What
of
a
putting it.
juxtaposition.
Yeah. Well, it's like, it's simulated combat, so I want the simulated combat to feel like combat.
Yeah.
Not like I'm watching a theater like presentation of combat.
Fair.
You know what I mean? But the stories that can be told are still phenomenal within the context of wrestling. I love it very much.
Yeah.
And Yeah, combat sports like mixed martial arts. It's probably more the last 7-8 years since I started training in that sort of stuff that I've taken interest in it.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I mean, the inspirations of the story have come from so many places. Because every time I watch something or read something, whole new like things form. Like I watched the Korean movie Old Boy.
Yeah.
Right? An entire like arc slash character, like almost the entire of the Revolt series had a shift.
Yeah.
Pretty late into the planning.
Yes.
Right. Like after book 1 had been started, been started in terms of the writing process. There was a whole shift. A new character was created, an entire backstory, lore, all of that off that one movie. And no, it's not about the reveal at the end. So I won't have any perverted stuff being common. It's a bit of a pervert ending.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
It was a very specific. You're the pervert, man. It was a very specific plot point. Very, very specific. That I took and my brain just ran with, and it just developed. Now it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorite of all time. I think I gave it like a 4.5 stars, something like that. So it's very good.
Yeah.
But again, from the hundreds of movies I've watched, I've like certain little things have triggered other things, which have then triggered ideas, and then it goes from there. So the whole series, all 70, 80 books planned, they all come from, you know, spin-offs of ideas that were generated by a song or a movie or watching wrestling or a character or even a real life person or something like that.
I mean, you've got the lived experience as well of being almost a pro tennis player.
Yeah.
Which is why we've tried to make the sport element so,
Yeah.
like, proper or, like,
realistic.
realistic.
Yeah, 100%. I hate reading about sports when the author clearly never played sports. I want that to feel very realistic.
And you have a much better insight than a lot of people on that side of things as well.
Yeah, it's the little things, like actually knowing what it's like to prep for competition. It's
in,
not
like, little rituals and stuff.
Yeah,
like that?
it's not just you rock up on the day, maybe do a little bit of a jog, and then you get in there. No. The whole thing of making sure you're hydrated enough, carb loading enough, waking up, stretching, like even meditation, making sure you've got the, like, literally down to the right grams of fat, protein, and carb mix in your diet from the day before and the day of. You know, keeping your weight low, but keeping your hydration high.
Yeah.
You know, like even little things like checking in on the day, like learning the schedule of events and figuring out when you're going to be competing so you can tailor your warm up to it, figuring out exactly how much to warm up. You know, make sure you're breaking a sweat without, you know, breaking down muscle fiber and like that, all those sort of things, which are, you know, they go into every sport. But I feel like are often not even glazed over, but just
missed entirely.
Yeah, missed entirely. Which to me feels just very unrealistic when talking about sports, because it's such a key part of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it feels more real. They feel like more like real human people, you know, when you've got the character, you know, like a little nervous trying to mix together a sort of natural energy drink prior to going out and competing. You know, it's a very real experience. You know, it's you know, having the team around them, you know, helping warm them up, put them in the right headspace, you know, listening to music, like making sure the muscles are all loosened off, like in your locker room, sort of, you know, stretching, but dynamically stretching and stuff like that to keep the muscles and the blood flowing.
Even down to the small things like telling yourself, like thinking over the thoughts that you need to do before you start the match.
Exactly. Game plans, you know, analyzing the tape of your opponent and what they're like.
Taking a moment to catch your breath and breathe properly.
Yes,
so,
exactly. Like, regulating
stuff.
breathing. It's, when it comes to writing stuff about war games, to me, that stuff's so important. And it's not as if every fight's gonna, you know, run through the whole ritual or anything like that by any means. It's got to keep up with the natural progression of the story. But it's like, it is referenced and it's talked about, and it's, you know, even if in snippets, because I want them to feel like legitimate athletes.
Yeah.
Not just, you know, it's like when you get, especially in animated stuff, it's like you'll have the sports stuff, like, you know, it's tournament, they rock up in the most impractical clothing, right? Like, no warm up. I was like, I'm about, I don't need a warm up. I'm there. It's like, okay. Yeah. Like, I get that's cool, but is it... Because it just takes away from all of the realism. All of a sudden, you're not convincing me that these people are actual athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, that's the sport side of things that definitely, you know, took me towards that. So how about yourself, Sam? Go on, talk about your...
Well, I've been reading from a very young age. I wasn't really allowed to watch TV or movies as a child, which I now can thank my parents for. At the time,
100%.
less so.
Yeah.
I probably read Harry Potter series about 10 times each book.
Yeah.
I was a big fan back in the day.
Yeah.
I've obviously progressed past that. I was also... Eragon is one of my first books that I really connected with. I just love the fantasy world from that whole inheritance cycle.
Yep.
So much cool stuff in there as well, with character relationships and stuff, and family as being a big point of that one.
Yes. Yeah.
Then I sort of fell out of reading as I went into high school and stuff. So I started getting into the Marvel and DC comics.
Yes. Yeah.
We've talked a bit about that before, how much we were both reading those back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Then
were,
that developed further. I sort of went into the manga and stuff when I felt like I ran out of the library's available comics and such.
Yeah, for sure.
Manga
for
and
sure.
anime went to that side of things, and then more recently into webcomics with the Korean and the Chinese.
Yeah. You have been delving
stuff.
into some of the webcomic stuff.
I very much enjoy the art for those. They're very well done.
Is that solo leveling's meant to be the good one, isn't it?
That's one of them. Yeah.
It's finished though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Author passed?
Nah, I think the author's working on the next series of it.
Why did I hear that the author passed away?
I could be the case and I'm mistaken. I'm not super up to date with the authors and stuff.
I feel like it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
There's a chance.
Yeah,
I know there's a second series of Solo Leveling out, like for his child or something like that. So
okay, maybe different. I don't know. I could have sworn maybe it was a different series I'm thinking of, but
we'll fact check that for later.
No, we won't.
Punch machine. Okay.
Here at the Rubber Dinghy Report, we do no actual reporting, but I will say it as fact. He's dead.
I will say we will confirm,
but we won't though.
And not report back.
When are we going to confirm?
We'll confirm for ourselves.
Yeah, we're not going to tell them. He's dead. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Big dog. Thank you for providing the world with such a good story.
And then, I guess somewhat more recently, I got back into reading as well. I started with the whole Eragon series again, and then was like, you know where's the next logical spot to jump in? 14-book Wheel of Time saga.
Yeah. Well, you've already read that, no?
That was like how I did Eragon
is this as in when you were getting back into it? Yeah.
The next series I immediately started was Wheel of Time, which is a lengthy investment.
Yeah.
But I smashed it out. I love that series. I know it has mixed reviews.
14 books is a lengthy investment, is it?
Well, if the books are longer than ours,
but
in audiobook form, which is how I read.
The Godsend Saga as a whole.
Yeah, we've got one book out there, mate.
Yeah, but when it's done,
we're not going to have a 56-hour-long book. Is the comparison?
You wait till we get to like book 45. So I'm going to make book 45 now 100 hours.
Just screw ourselves over in the printing process as well.
Yeah, but the entire thing is gonna be the character thinks for 94 hours, and I'm gonna make the audiobook person go for 94 hours.
Far out.
Just various cadences of
Yeah, and then I got Yeah, so then I went from Wheel of Time into Sanderson and stuff, and have
fair enough.
Big love for the rival now, and
Yep.
I've been reading probably at least 50 books a year since.
Yeah, that's a good effort. I read a lot as a child. I was definitely a pretty advanced reader as a young child.
Yeah.
I remember, it's hard to put it exact times, but I remember I left England at the age of 9.
Yeah.
But before that is when I did the majority of my reading. And I'd finished a lot of series like what was his name? Charlie Higson's Young Bond series, like the Alex Rider series.
Yeah. I have a story with the Alex Rider series.
Yeah.
I'll let you continue, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, the other one I loved when I read when I was about like 5, 6, 7 years old was Higher Institute of Villainous Education. It was a really fun series. I used to really like that one. It's basically about like a school of villains.
Okay.
Essentially. And I just really took to the characters.
Classic
they were they were
villains.
No, but they were
Yeah,
they were protagonists but antagonists. It was one of those ones, you know.
Cool concept.
But it was actually a really, really fun read, and I enjoyed that a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, but I read a lot of them when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. I think I read Harry Potter when I was a little older. Maybe I was 10.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, most of the books I read when I was, I think I read Lord of the Rings when I was 12. Something like that, and the Hobbit as well. But that was kind of the last one that I read was a series. I think it's called like the Gone series or something.
Yeah.
But that series of 6 books was so good. I think I read that when I was like 13 or 14 or something. It was so good that I was like, I didn't want to leave the characters behind, so I just didn't pick up another series after that. Before that, I would always have a book on the go. Like until about 13, 14, I was reading at all times.
Yeah.
But then after, I didn't want to let those characters go, and so I just never picked up a series after that. Like the time just ended up growing and growing. And obviously after like a month or two passed, I wasn't that bothered about that. I just never got around to picking up another book. And so I haven't really read since that, apart from like philosophical books or religious texts or that sort of stuff that interests me.
Hasn't even read our book.
Well, I wrote it. What do you mean? Yes, I wrote it.
Punch machine.
I'll punch your machine. That's what we call Sam's nose.
Shovel bandit.
Shovel magnet, mate. Yeah, so I used to do a lot of reading as a kid. My mum was very insistent. Like, I remember my first book series that I read was like The Wind in the Willows when I was about 2 or 3 years old, or like 3 or something. I used to really love it. But yeah, I was reading from a young age. I had like a pretty good comprehension level just from mum getting me into reading very, very young. And so I was reading a lot of teen stuff when I was around like 6, 7, 8 sort of thing. And then, yeah, just after 13, 14, I just never really... And now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I would... I think I would enjoy reading. There's some stuff that tempts me.
Yeah.
But I'm writing all the time. When am I going to find the time to...
I do have the luxury of being able to listen through audiobooks while I work during the day.
Which is completely fair.
Yeah.
But with me, it's like if I'm reading, I'm not writing. And if I'm not writing, then the Godsend Saga isn't progressing. And then it's like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So, I've got to be writing at all times.
I'm now going to jump back in with my little Alex Rider story.
Yeah, go on.
So I was in New Zealand on a trip with my grandmother at some point. And...
You didn't Alex ride off a cliff, did you?
I tried.
Yeah.
Nah, I think I was bored at nights or something. I brought a book and I'd already finished it because I read very quickly.
Yeah.
So grandmother takes me to the op shop.
Yeah.
Just picks up a random book. It was the first Alex Rider.
Oh, that one was called... Oh, I forget. Because Stormbreaker was the second one.
It might have been...
Or was it the first?
It might have been the first. I can't... It's been a while, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I could fact check it, but we don't fact check things here on the Rubber Dinghy Report.
No.
So yeah, I pick up the first book in an op shop in one town, New Zealand, and we shift off. I've already finished the first book, so we go in an op shop again.
Yeah.
I pick up like the next 3 books that just happened to be there. I was like read majority of that series in the time I was in New Zealand, and then got back and finished the rest.
Yeah, true.
It's just...
I remember I begged my parents to buy me the I think I was in Dubai, so I would have been 7 or something. It was straight after whatever year the Chronicles of Narnia, the Lion, Witch and Wardrobe came out. It might have been 2005 or 6, I think.
As in the movies or the books?
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah.
I think it was 2005 or 6, I believe.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so whatever year it was or the year after, right? So I was pretty young, I was 5 or 6 years old. And I was at a bookshop and I saw the full series of books there. I begged my parents to buy it. I was like, buy it, please. Please. Because I loved the movie so much. I really loved it. It was my favorite movie at the time when I was a kid.
I actually do want to give that one a rewatch.
I haven't really watched it since. Like, it's a cool movie. I always stand by it's a cool movie, but I loved it as a kid. And yeah, I begged my parents to buy the whole book. They're like, oh, make sure you read it, mate. Dude, I got into the first novel, right? it was definitely beyond the comprehension level of like a 6-year-old. I was trying to read. I'm like, I do not understand any of this because it's quite an old series as well. And I was trying to like picture it in my head. I'm like, I don't understand this.
I think I had the same thing.
Yeah, and I was like, I ended up reading it again when I was older, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, at that age, I was like, I don't get any, but I wouldn't tell that to my mum. So I'm like, yeah, really good.
That was the only time I got to see movies if I'd read the book first.
Yeah.
So that's hence why I read Harry Potter so many times. I
You ever read the Dragon Ball Z manga?
I've never watched the movie, so no.
No, it's the other way around.
Well, so I didn't read it, so I didn't watch the movie.
Yeah. Well, unfortunate. I think you should give it a crack.
I'll get to it. I promise.
Yeah, it literally will be your favorite movie ever, and I know it will be. Like it is going to be your favorite movie of all time.
Well,
yeah.
I think we're getting pretty close towards the hour, so I think it's time to shift to our new segment.
Yeah.
What are you going to call this segment?
Who is better out of me and Sam at drawing characters?
Too many words. Try again. And it can't be Punch Machine.
It's called a Punch Machine. All right. No. The loser gets a punch on the other person's arm.
We are not going with Punch Machine.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to continue that after this.
Yeah, but like our podcast isn't called the Rubber Dinghy Report.
How about...
Yeah, I'm saying like that was. Well, we'll have to use that later.
What about Top Trumps is a game?
Top Trumps is a game.
What about Top Punch?
Top Punch. Top Punch Machine.
We'll skip Machine.
This is the fun part though. No. The segment is called the new segment for now. It's time for a game of the new segment.
All right.
Now, over here, Sam and I have some cards, right? These cards represent gladiators from our sport of war games. Mm-hmm. Now, each one is of varying power levels and a varying competency at fighting, but they're all very strong. These are all the Division 1 gladiators, so there's 30 cards here, plus some Hall of Fame ones as well, who are some of the greatest of all time.
Yep.
Now, myself and Sam, being authors of the series, we usually pretty unanimously agree on who's stronger, who's not.
Yep.
Not always. However, we will be drawing cards from this deck. And what does the winner get?
So we will be ending the series, or ending each podcast with a card draw, and
we talk about the characters.
Talking about the characters, their powers, etc., and who would win in this fight.
Yes.
A prize, hey?
A prize. Yeah. What does the winner get, or what does the loser get?
Maybe that's a to be decided following the conclusion of this round. We might discover it as we talk.
Okay. What about the winner gets a gift from the loser for the next podcast?
A gift,
unspecified.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's see where that goes.
You know what? That's what it's going to be. We're going to open every episode with the gift giving. And end every episode with the new segment.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what it's called now, is the new segment.
Awesome.
Yeah. Alright, Samuel. I'll let you draw a card. Do you want a scissors, paper, rock?
Let's go back to our old game.
Yeah, scissors, paper, rock.
So, 1, 2, 3, shoot?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, shoot. Alright. I'm gonna take...
I lost to the bird.
I'm gonna take... Not looking.
Mm-hmm.
This card is speaking to me. Sam?
Well, these cards aren't speaking to me because they don't have voices, but I'm thinking this one right here.
Okay. Alright.
How are we doing this?
Let's reveal. We'll reveal it to the camera. We'll lean forward and reveal it. Alright, so shall we do mine first and then yours, or do we want to do the same time? Or...
Let's flip them at the same time.
Alright. 3, 2, 1. There they are. We can't see them, but I'm pretty sure
I think you've got it right.
I smoke you.
All
no,
right.
I don't.
Let's have a look.
Alright, I've got Nikolai Drago.
Okay.
A Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Absolute Nikolai Drago. He's from the Drago family, which is a very storied one within wargames. The current, head of the Drago family is Ilya, who is the 4th ranked gladiator in the world. Very strong.
Yeah.
Now, the Drago family has the ability to turn flash freeze temperature around them, even send out waves of air that can flash freeze things. So basically...
They can heat as well, or is it just...
No, just cold.
cold? Yeah,
just
okay.
They can basically just reduce temperatures to absolute zero at their most powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is his ability, and he's a Hall of Famer. He's had a very storied career. Won the X1, which is the most prestigious tournament within the sport of war games, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Arguably, I'd say top 10 definitely, top 5 arguably of all time. You've got Gerard Lebeau.
Yes, the Frenchman with the wires.
Yes.
What's his current ranking? It's
As of the book 1, he's kind of upper mid-table Division 1.
Yeah.
So he's ranked in the... I've been working on book 3 and now book 4 as we're going. So the book 1 rankings are a little in the past for me.
Yeah.
But I think he's around 12 or 13.
He's strong.
Very strong. Actually, the record holder of the Breakthrough Invitational, which is a tournament that's held at the start of each year. It's a Division 1 tournament.
Yeah.
Usually a little weaker than some of the others because often gladiators like to go a little slower into their season.
Yeah.
So it's not always got the highest level of Division 1, but Gerard is he's a 3-time winner, I believe, which is a joint record.
Yeah. Okay.
So very strong in that sense. He's very competent.
Yeah. And he's manipulates little razor wires.
Out of his hands.
Out of his hands, which can slice through basically.
Yeah, he uses them as in the same way that would use a whip, but instead of lashing it, it does lash and slice, but if used correctly with enough force, it can just slice through flesh.
And it's a weapon godsend, so it's similar to other weapons. They sort of dissipate other. Well, they don't. They're basically indestructible.
Yes, yeah, basically. All constructions that aren't sort of elemental, usually they can't be destroyed. Because creatively for us, it just made things balanced a lot more. If you can wield lightning, it makes sense that you would.
It helps fix a bit of the range issue you
get
with weaponry.
Exactly.
Especially
if you can
swords and such.
Yes, exactly. It allows them to keep fighting and whatnot. So, Gerard is very strong.
It's strong, but it does not come close to the all-time.
Nikolai Drago is definitely stronger.
Yes.
He's a character who you probably won't see too much of in the series for now. And even then, I think he's only going to be touched on in the future. He's definitely referenced to.
He's a retired gladiator. In the point of the series when we pick up.
Elia Drago is the one you need to watch out for. He's very high ranked and very, very powerful and definitely has his sights set on the top of the rankings, which he has achieved before.
Yeah.
So with that, Sam, with me stomping you like that, you now owe me a gift for next episode.
I'll have one prepared.
You better. And where this gift goes is kind of the path that we're going to be taking for gifts in the future.
We'll see.
Yeah. So you give me something nice, maybe I give you something nice. You give me something not so nice, maybe I snap your neck.
I will dodge.
You can't dodge a broken neck.
You haven't seen me dodge a broken neck.
Alright, I think that's a wrap up of the podcast for the Rubber Dinghy Report of Big 2025.
It's not the only one in 2025, mate.
What if it is?
We've already done another one of this year.
Have we? You don't know that. That was a fun episode. Good effort, mate. That was a fun episode, and we will catch you at the same time next week, which is Tuesdays at 6 p.m, I believe.
We'll float you later.
Oh, that's not sticking.
It is.
It's not. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We are good background noise. Catch you later.